5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
Growing calls for change. Tonight, a North St. Louis pastor is pleading for peace after 2 people were shot blocks from his church.
We're going to have to come together more as a community to help curb this.
We are just days away from a critical deadline for people to apply for federal help from the May 16th tornado.
And we're calling all boots to the ground because we need more help.
Tonight, the group's getting involved to make sure no one is left without.
No severe weather threats anytime soon. In fact, it's going to be hard to get any rain around here for several days. The chilling trend pushing in for early next week.
Tonight, St. Louis police are still looking for the gunman who shot and killed this 31-year-old man and critically wounded an innocent woman. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. I'm Kelly Jackson. That deadly shooting happened in the North Riverfront neighborhood near Baden Tuesday night. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend has the latest on the investigation and reaction from a concerned pastor.
Several gunshots rang out and then several people ran for their lives.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Police say just before 11 Tuesday night, gunfire ripped across the air near North Broadway and Pope Avenue in North St. Louis. 31-year-old Trayvon Bledsoe was shot and killed, his car riddled with bullet holes. Witnesses say an innocent 29-year-old woman was also shot, suffered critical injuries, and went to a hospital.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
An outraged Pastor Anthony Robinson saw a cell phone video of the shootings. The crimes happened about 2 miles away from his church.
Senseless violence has happened in our community.
Trayvon Bledsoe's mother didn't feel safe to talk on camera. She told me her son and his friends were hanging out in this area, mourning a friend who had been shot to death hours before near West Florissant and Thrush, also in North City. Police say someone opened fire on that man as he sat in his car. The victim crashed his car in the cemetery. Police have not said if the 2 shootings were connected.
We're losing our population to violence at an extremely alarming rate. We don't know how to solve our problems without violence. Gun violence is not the way. The ripple effect of it is that people are afraid of the community.
Pastor Robinson would like to see more police officers patrolling this area.
A police substation in the area will be a very big benefit. Just seeing them here in the area will make a huge difference.
Trayvon Bledsoe was the father of 4, his oldest just 6 years old. So at this point, police have not said anything about a motive, nor have they made any arrests in connection with the gun violence that happened here. Meantime, Pastor Robinson hopes more community leaders will keep banding together in hopes of keeping the peace.
We try to reach families, but then the violence still supersedes that.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Police say the woman who was shot is still in the hospital. If you know anything about these shootings, call St. Louis Police. Tonight, a woman remains in the hospital after she had a medical emergency inside the City Justice Center. Police say they were called to the prisoner processing area for reports of a sick woman. First responders got there and performed life-saving measures before rushing her to the hospital. Tonight, she is in critical condition, and right now, police are investigating this situation. Tonight, we know who the next leader of the St. Louis City Justice Center will be. Mayor Kara Spencer is appointing Nate Hayward to serve as the jail's next commissioner of corrections. As political editor Mark Maxwell reports, Hayward's tenure will begin during a dark period for the jail.
The City Justice Center faces its biggest test in years right as the mayor appoints a new man for the top job.
It's a priority for us.
Mayor Kara Spencer picked Nate Hayward to lead the jail starting next month. He'll take the keys to a troubled jail where a grieving mother says her son should still be alive.
There is literally a cascade of constitutional failure in our CJC.
When he was on the bench, retired Judge David Mason would routinely ask defendants before they entered a guilty plea, had they taken drugs while in the city jail?
I've known for years that has been a problem.
In an angry open letter posted online, a former corrections officer blamed other jail guards for smuggling contraband inside, alleging they treat the inmates like animals. They're sometimes denied medical attention. That corrections officer no longer employed.
Just about every decent whistleblower ends up being somebody who's been let go.
We read her entire letter to Judge Mason.
What you just read to me is consistent with what I've been hearing, not just since I've been here, but even throughout the time I've been in court.
And she's not alone. We've obtained an internal letter from Captain Javen Folks, who warned leadership this summer about escalating violence, broken security systems, all in a grievance he says went ignored for weeks. Folks explicitly warning ignoring these issues could spark a potentially large-scale disturbance, a chilling reminder of past uprisings inside. The judge's advice for the new commissioner?
We're no longer going to say no comment. You know, that's no more no comment. There's always, because no comment is the last refuge of the public official who really just doesn't want to tell you, or they don't know.
The judge, who once worked as a lawyer for Missouri prisons, saw firsthand how pressure from the press and lawsuits from inmates can bring about change.
If the citizens of the city of St. Louis knew how deep the problems were and were given candid responses at what is necessary to correct them, then they will support city officials in making those corrections.
And Hayward's first day on the job will be September 16th. Now, to new video showing the moments that led up to a deadly shooting involving 2 St. Anne police officers. And this video is from a neighbor's surveillance camera of 37-year-old Troy Hamilton, who was killed Wednesday. It shows Hamilton pulling into his driveway, getting out of his car, and running for his front door. You can see 2 officers chasing behind Hamilton. The family's lawyer says there's a brief struggle, and that is when both officers shot and killed Hamilton. Hamilton's family says he was shot twice in the back. Police say the 2 officers fired after, quote, a stolen firearm was produced during the altercation. But tonight, the attorney for Hamilton's family says the video disproves that claim.
The only thing we see in this video is Troy reaching for that door knob trying to get inside his home.
So he didn't have a gun on his body at the time?
He did not have a gun accessible to him during this altercation.
We want to be very clear. The video quality makes it impossible for us to independently verify whether Hamilton pulled out a weapon. The North County Police Cooperative is leading this investigation, who has since asked the FBI to launch their own independent investigation. Let's talk about our weather. It has been a gorgeous night in St. Louis as we take a live look at the Arch downtown. If you have enjoyed the cooler temps, then we have some good news for you. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here. And Scott, you are timing out how much longer this cool streak will last?
You know, tomorrow we have another front that comes in, and while temperatures will be very similar to today, we're going to send those temperatures back down a few degrees going into early next week. It'll be resort-like weather in St. Louis. Of course, a lot of folks out at Lambert tonight. There's still some flights left to take off at this hour. The showers, well, they've been falling off and falling apart as they've been pushing at us from the north and west. Our temperatures have dropped back into the 70s now around St. Louis. A few upper 60s in the outlying areas. We were only at 84 for our high temperature today. And tomorrow, we're in that same territory. I think we're going to top out at 86. We will have more clouds tomorrow afternoon. They increase as that front comes in and behind the front. And yes, there could even be a spritz or a sprinkle, but there's really not much of an opportunity for rain here over the next several days. What we can say is the early morning hours from Sunday on into Thursday, maybe even Friday morning, our temperatures for morning lows refreshing. In many cases down into the 50s, and in some cases, especially the middle of next week, our morning low temperatures in the outlying areas will be in the 40s. That's cool for August. We'll talk more about that and your Labor Day weekend in just a few minutes.
Oh, looking forward to that, Scott. We're just 4 days away from the deadline for St. Louis tornado survivors to apply for assistance from FEMA. Today, 5 on Your Side has learned Mayor Kara Spencer is asking for that deadline to be extended for a second time. Brent Solomon is in North St. Louis with a look at why community advocates say more time is needed.
The damage across North St. Louis more than 90 days after the devastating tornado is still apparent and extensive. You're looking at Cora Avenue.
And we are talking with our community eye to eye, canvassing block by block, able to understand with empathy what we are going through as a collective.
Attorney Kimberly Turner is with the Coalition, a group of attorneys, realtors, and insurance claim adjusters who felt a need to act.
Community was told that if your home was condemned, that you no longer own it. Community was told that come and sign this quitclaim deed because your property is no longer worth anything, right? There was those who were coming in from out of town and in town who were looking to take the bricks from community. So we said we need to do something.
Every Saturday at MLK and Cora to go through storm survivors' insurance policies and to help people apply for FEMA. The current deadline to apply is August 26th. Mayor Kara Spencer saying Friday, when your life is suddenly completely changed, gathering all the information needed to make the best possible application can take time, and we cannot let an arbitrary deadline stand in the way of equitable recovery. It's why she's made a request to have that deadline extended. No word yet if that will happen.
Historically, when there has been a disaster of this magnitude, FEMA has extended 30 or 60 days. We only have received 15 days with the request of 60. So we're not asking for any special treatment. We are simply asking that we receive the same opportunity that many others have received when facing a disaster of this magnitude.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And Mayor Spencer says even if you have already received help from FEMA, you may still be eligible for more assistance, including housing rental help. For more info on how to apply, just text the word FEMA to 314-425-5355. We'll send you a link to your phone. And you can also find those resources if you visit the story in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. Boeing and its machinist union are heading back to the negotiation table next week. Both sides are scheduled to discuss contract offers on Monday. That would mark 3 weeks since the union went on strike. Workers have been picketing for higher wages, better benefits, and a bigger bonus. So far, the union has rejected 2 contract offers from Boeing. Tonight, the company says, quote, "We look forward to further conversations with the union and finding a path forward to end the strike and bring our team back to work." Tonight, the debate to build a data center in the city of St. Charles is on hold, at least for now. Earlier today, the city council unanimously passed a 1-year ban on any data center applications. This makes St. Charles the first city in the country to pass legislation to prevent data center construction. It comes after residents voiced frustrations with a proposal that many say lacked transparency.
We all understand that growth is important, but it must be managed carefully with honesty, integrity, and community input at the forefront.
Opponents of the ban say it may hurt the city's chances of landing future developments. We reach out to the attorney for the developers in this data center. We've not heard back. Scammers are finding more ways to con people out of their money.
Very smart, very intelligent people who get caught up in things they never would imagine.
The 2 things financial experts say you can do to protect yourself from becoming a victim. Plus, killed in the Korean War, now home at last.
I thought this is no way. No, it's impossible. I knew when the Marines showed up at my door, this was real.
A hero's welcome 75 years later.
Cool Canadian air. It's spinning towards the St. Louis area as we head into early next week. The question is, what about Labor Day weekend? We're looking ahead coming up.
Scammers, they successfully get money out of people on a regular basis, and victims' families often say they had no idea it was happening. Allison Gormley shows us how some paperwork can help flag fraud.
Scams happen to the people we love.
There are some really powerful stories out there about people who have a lot of common sense, very smart, very intelligent people who get caught up in things they never would imagine they've gotten caught up in.
Kate Ashford with NerdWallet said it's important to consider safeguards before a loss. However, they're not foolproof. A good starting point, adding a trusted contact to accounts.
They will contact you if they think that your parent is involved in something and making bad decisions, and then you can be the person in the position of being like, Mom, what's happening? But you can't actually make any decisions on their behalf.
So a heads up is where your power as a trusted contact stops. The next option, power of attorney.
They should have estate planning with a power of attorney named for finances and healthcare. And that is a person that can make decisions on your parent's behalf. It doesn't supersede your parent's decision unless your parent is incapacitated.
And again, unless the criteria is met, a family member can still give away their money to criminals. setting up the framework to help spot red flags.
If your parents trust you, you can also be added to an account and monitor activity that way. As long as everyone's trustworthy, it is helpful to have someone who can pay your bills in case of an accident or bad situation. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. I know it's a forecast that everyone is going to love.
I think so, except for the people that maybe want to be by the pool and want it to be a little toasty.
They could put a little wrap around themselves.
Yeah, that's not the idea behind the pool, Kelly. But you know, we do have some clouds coming in tomorrow. You can see them on the satellite north and west of St. Louis. And our temperatures tomorrow are still in the 80s. But I got to tell you, the air behind this system that's spinning up here in Canada is pretty chilly. And that's going to dive into our general area as we head into the early part of the upcoming week. So these cooler temperatures will be building in. Right now, it is quite comfortable. We're in the upper 60s, lower 70s across the area. 70 in the Chesterfield Valley as well as at Sullivan. Scott Air Force Base is 73. Salem, Illinois and Alton at 68 right now. Lambert comes in with 73 after that high today of 84. 66 was our morning low. We're in the same territory again tomorrow morning. Most of us in the low to mid 60s. It is a mainly clear night. Winds on the light side. Our sunset about 7:45 the next few nights. And then we'll look at the clouds rolling in tomorrow. By the afternoon hours, it's mainly cloudy. There could be a spritz or a sprinkle. The winds will turn to the northwest behind this front as it settles through the area. Here's the thing, though. It's really limited in the amount of moisture it has. And the bottom line is it basically is just delivering refreshing breezes to the bi-state area. Sunday will be a little breezy, not necessarily windy, but it's brighter. The drier air is pushing in, the cooler air is pushing in. We're only in the upper 70s, close to 80 on Sunday for the high temperature. And it's pretty quiet all across the bi-state region. All across Missouri and Illinois, looking at a fantastic, more autumn-like weekend, especially by Sunday, than what you would expect for the end of August. Now, your low temperatures as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday morning, mid-50s for us in the metro area. Outlying areas, especially in those cooler low spots down over the eastern Ozarks, you can expect temperatures to drop back into, get this, the mid to upper 40s. So we're talking a light wrap. That's not pool weather. That's early in the morning next Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures will be in the 70s. As we head towards the end of the week, a slow warming trend perhaps, but as we look at the Labor Day weekend, there are low rain chances next Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures don't look to be all that warm, although they might bump up into the mid-80s if we get enough sunshine. But it's not going to be overly hot for Labor Day in St. Louis, and the rain chances between now and then look quite limited for us. And rainfall amounts at the moment look pretty low, too.
Yeah, look at that week ahead. Wow.
I mean, it's refreshing.
It is so nice. All right. Thanks, Scott. All right. Sports is next.
Tampa Bay wanted revenge tonight after the Cardinals ran away with a 7-4 win last night. The Redbirds rookie who tried to cut them down in their path. After the break.
And here's a look at programs streaming and late night on 5+. You can watch for free on your Roku, Apple, Fire, or Samsung TV.
Lucky number 7 was the rally inning for the Cardinals tonight. Unfortunately, too much damage was done by Tampa on the road to catch up. They scored every inning until the 5th, consistently staying on top of the fastballs dealt by Redbird starter Miles Michaelis. The Rays' slugfest at George Steinbrenner Field would be a doozy, but the Cardinals took some good swings, too, after winning last night. Catcher Joel Pozo gets a piece of this one in the 2nd. That scores Mason Wynn. Cards on the board 1-1. Then, in the 6th inning, Thomas Sajaci is at the plate. Wilson Contreras is on third. First pitch of the matchup. This is going to be, a little chopper to short. Bad Rays throw over to second. Then Wynn is in for the run. Tampa's still ahead 7-2, though. Cutting the deficit down, it was Cardinals rookie Nathan Church. It's his first big league home run. Congrats, Nathan, tonight. A 2-run homer in the 7th. Takes it and makes it 7-4. The Rays eventually run away with it, though, tonight, winning 10-6. And head coach Brett Bielema and the Fighting Illini will have superstar QB Luke Altmaier as one of their 18 returning returning starters this season. Altmaier maximizing his efficiency last season, throwing 22 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. All of this as the senior in Illinois heads into the season number 12 in the country. It's their highest preseason ranking in more than 30 years. Bielema is leading his 5th season in Champaign, and many have the team projected to make a deep run into the 12-team college football playoff come December. But first, battle-tested Altmaier will take on Western Illinois next Friday night at 6:30. And count them, we have 6 days until Mizzou football is back, and we have a decision as to who will be in the pocket for the first game against Central Arkansas next Thursday, or at least it's a partial decision. Coach Eli Drinkwitz said this week both Sam Horn and Bo Prabula will split the quarterback reps in the first game of the season. And after the second day of the PGA Tour Championship today, it's Englishman Tommy Fleetwood tied in the top spot with American Russell Henley, both at 13 under. Not to make this a revolutionary war, though, heading into tomorrow, but it's shaping up to be quite the short game showdown in Atlanta, especially as Fleetwood chases his first ever PGA Tour win. Friday at East Lake Golf Course didn't disappoint. Shane Lowry, from 97 feet and 6 inches just to tack on, somehow magically drops the longest putt in playoff history, but this is one of the 2 guys at the top of the tournament leaderboard. Tommy Fleetwood on the 3rd hole flies it to the back of the pin. Beautiful release on the green. Eventually Fleetwood, he's always been the bridesmaid. He's never the bride, but he logged a 63 today, making him 7 under on the day. But this one, world number 1, Scotty Scheffler had one of the best shots of the day. 17, almost jars it from 112 yards out, cuts it down to 2. That's his 19th consecutive round under 70. He's approaching the record.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
And we have less than 2 months of professional soccer in St. Louis, an uphill battle of a season with only 5 wins, 6 draws, and a staggering 15 losses. But City SC has a chance to bump it up to 6-6 tomorrow against Vancouver. Last Saturday's face-off against the Chicago Fire ended in a 3-2 loss, but interim head coach David Critchley is hoping this week of practice focused on a little bit more energetic offense, especially late into the game, will be the ticket on Canadian soil at 8:30 tomorrow night.
You know, I know we've had a couple of different lineups lately. A lot of it's been some, whether it's injuries or rotation of guys. But now that we have the full group at the utilization, it's about getting the 11 players on the field that I think will get us 3 points.
And speaking of soccer, we have a little bit of a preview, Kelly. We have the St. Louis women's soccer team. They're taking on Mizzou on Sunday at 5 o'clock at home. So if you want to go watch some women's soccer, Sunday at 5 o'clock, I would highly recommend.
We got to cheer them on. All right. And when we come back, a Marine's remains identified 75 years after his death. The special ceremony finally reuniting him with his family in St. Louis. We leave you tonight with the story of a war hero who has finally come home. Private First Class Donald Eichschlag was a U.S. Marine killed in action during the Korean War. For 75 years, his remains were never returned to his family in St. Louis until today. Thanks to DNA testing, Eichschlag was finally identified, bringing long-awaited closure. Photojournalist Sam Bilk talks to the nephews he never had a chance to meet.
Losing a person, a son in battle is disturbing. So it bothered my mom and my grandma greatly. It was a shame he lost his life so early. They wanted him home. They always wanted him to come home. When they first got with me, I thought it was a scam because there's so many scams that go on. I thought this is no way. No, it's impossible. I knew when the Marines showed up at my door, it was real. They were telling the story. We want to give your uncle full honors.
It's remarkable that the military followed this through even so many years after. I mean, some could just say that, well, it took you this long to do it. Yeah, but it was done, and he's home.
I'm sure he'd be proud of everything that's going on today. I'm sure my grandmother, I wish she would be here, and my mom, they'd be very proud to see all this. And the Patriot Riders are here, and some policemen, and there's going to be some military, and then the fire department gets involved. It's very prestigious, and I appreciate every bit of it.
Eichschlag was just 18 years old when he died and was awarded the Purple Heart for his sacrifice. His funeral is next Wednesday, and he'll be buried at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. Let's get a final check of our weekend forecast, Scott.
And it is going to be a quiet weather weekend around the St. Louis area. We do look for some clouds tomorrow, but the northwest breeze starts bringing in cooler temperatures. And by next week, we're only in the 70s for highs to start next week, the final week of August. And the week before Labor Day, not even getting anywhere close to 90 degrees.
Should be nice for the telephone, too.
Yes, it should.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. We're always streaming on 5+. Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 6 a.m.